Welcome to another episode of You're at Home Learning on Computers and stuff. So mixed number edition. So today we're gonna take some of those strategies that we used yesterday with kind of taking apart mixed numbers and then putting together the fraction parts. One of the things we did was we were decomposing the fractions and putting them back together. So we can do that, or we can find improper fractions. But either way, let's go ahead and start off with another warm-up where we're talking about math using the sentence stems. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to, once again, pause it and think about these two things, these two numbers, while it's paused. And I want you to think about how to use these sentence stems, all right? Little hints, 5/6, that sounds like almost one whole, and 1/2, of course, is 1/2 of one whole. So go ahead and pause it and use the sentence stems and come back and we'll talk about them. All right, welcome back. So looking at these numbers, we have 4 and 5/6 plus 1 and 1/2. All right, so if I'm thinking about this, one of the first things that I think about is 5/6. My numerator is only one off from my denominator. So first off, we talked about how those are all simplified, but also 5/6. If you have 5 pieces out of 6, you almost have the whole thing. So 5/6 is almost a whole. And then 1/2 is exactly that, 1/2 of a whole. All right. So if I just look at my whole numbers, there's 4 and 1. And then if I look at my fractions, there's almost 1.5. So I think the answer will be more than, let's see, I know it'll be more than 5. It'll be more than 5 because if I add the whole numbers, it's 5. And then I still have to add 5/6 plus 1/2. I think that my answer will be less than 7 because 4 plus 1 is still 5. And then 5/6 plus 1/2 will be less than 2. So it won't quite be 7 because 5 plus 2 is 7. So I think it'll be less than 7. So the answer will be between, I think, 5 and 7 because, like we just said before, if we add 4 and 1 together, we get 5, and then 5/6 is almost one whole, so that's almost 6, and then 6 plus a half is about 6.5, so that's somewhere between 5 and 7. All right, so if we actually do the math, 4 plus 1 equals 5, right? Then we have 5/6 plus 1/2. We can turn our half into sixths by multiplying by 3. Remember, anytime that you have half, you can just make it into the other fraction if it's even by turning it into the same denominator and then just using half of the denominator as your numerator, which would be 3/6. So we have 5/6 plus 3/6, which gives us 8/6. Remember that 8/6 is the same thing as 6/6 plus 2/6. It's getting messy. So 6/6 is 1, and then 2/6 can be simplified because both your numerator and denominator are even. So that is 1/3. So 1 and 1/3. So we take this 1 and 1/3 and we add it back to the 5 from earlier. And our final answer is 6 and 1/3. So was our prediction correct? Was our answer more than 5? Was our answer less than 7? And was our answer between 5 and 7? Yes to all those things. We did a great job. All right, so the more you think about these problems ahead of time, the closer you can get to your answer in your brain. And then you can sometimes eliminate bad answers. You can do all sorts of stuff by just thinking about the numbers before you start doing the math. Remember, overall, it's kind of like puzzles more than it is just numbers. Okay, so moving on. Oops, that's the wrong thing. I just wrote a red dot. There we go. So I wonder if this recipe actually works. It says chocolate chip cookies, 2.5 cups of flour, 1 and 5/8 cups of sugar, 1 cup of butter, well, 1 cups. All right, whatever. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 cups of chocolate chips, and 1 egg. All right, wow. You have as much chocolate chips as flour. Does anyone bake? If anyone bakes and knows if this would actually work, please let me know. All right, when we come back, we're going to think about what expression could we write to represent the total amount of flour and sugar. So I want you to think about how could we combine the flour and sugar in an expression. We'll check when we come back.